Hey guys, Eric here. We are going to learn the pentatonic scale. Cue YouTube intro here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Elegancy. I don't do any editing, so let's get right to it. Pentatonic. Penta means 5. So this note has 5 different sounds, 5 different notes, which makes it really easy to memorize, really easy to play. And it's a great scale. It's very simple to improvise over pretty much anything we've done in C, because we're learning the C pentatonic scale. Depending on what note you start on, you can get different pentatonic scales. But this one's C, and it starts on the open string. So first I'm just going to show you how to play it, because you might just pick it up like that. Okay? The difference between scale and chord is that, a lot of the lessons we've been playing chords where we're strumming all the strings and using one or more fingers. For a scale, we just do one string, one note at a time. So the scale goes O, and then 2, second finger, second fret. Whatever fret we're on, that's the finger you're going to use. It's called a position. So first finger, first fret, second, second, third, third, fourth, 17th. Haha, just kidding. Fourth, fourth. Okay? So the first 2 notes are O and 2. And we're trying to get a very rounded sound. Sometimes if I'm really picky, never mind. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So O, 2. That's the first thing we're doing on this C string. We are skipping the G string. We're going from low to high, but none of the notes are on this G string. So we have O, 2. Now the hardest part is switching strings, but what we're going to do is we're going to move this down and play O, 3, O, 3, O, 2, O, 3, O, 3. So every 2 notes, I'm moving on to another string. And the switching of the strings is the hardest part about this. Okay? So if you think you can learn the scale that way, just pause it and go through and watch what I did. That's great. There's another way we can learn scales. And it's called tablature, and it's a way of reading music using a system of numbers rather than saying like, oh, that's a G or G sharp, or what's the key signature? That can be really difficult. But this is just a system of numbers, and each line represents the string. The most confusing thing about it, and it's not even that bad, is that it's kind of upside down, right? So here's our G, C, E, A going from low to high, and on the uke, we have G, C, E, A. So it's just a little swapped. But the reason we do this is because all music you read, if it's farther down on the page, then it's a lower note. So this stays consistent with that. And once you get used to it, it makes a lot of sense. Okay? So I already played the scale note by note, but let's just see what that looks like reading this diagram. So there's nothing on the G string. So we're not going to play anything on this G string. So I'm going to go ahead and move my thumb down to C to get started. And there's an O there, or a 0. You could interpret it either way. But a 0 or an O means don't fret anything. Don't fret. And play an open string. So I'm playing open. Simple enough, right? The hardest thing about that is just how you're going to hold the instrument if you're not squeezing here. So I just kind of let it rest on this finger. But I need the second finger ready to go. So maybe as a beginner, you're holding the instrument here. That's okay. Eventually, you want to get away from that. The reason I'm doing it is because I'm holding the ukulele so you can see it. But anyway, let's not overthink this. So we've got O, and then 2, because there's a 2 there, so we want to use our second finger, second fret. O, 2. Okay? Next, we move. Like I said, this is the hardest part, just shifting to the next string. We have O, 3. I'm breaking this into chunks. I think that's the easiest way to remember. O, 2, O, 3. So far from the beginning, here we go. O, 2, O, 3. And I couldn't help myself. I finished it off. O, 3. Same numbers as here. So like I said, really easy to memorize. O, 2, O, 3, O, 3. Okay, let's try practicing it, you looking up here, and I'm going to point. We'll see how that goes. I'll go really slow. You ready? So get your thumb ready on the C string. 1 and 2 and here we go. Oh, 2, oh, 3, oh, 3. Okay, if you're with me, great, you got it. If you're not, pause it, pause the video, and just work on that on your own speed. Nothing wrong with that. Remember, I always say practicing slow and correct is way better than too fast and kind of all over the place. All right? If you're having some troubles, it's probably, if I'm gonna guess, shifting the strings. So just baby steps, set little itty bitty goals. Can you go from O to O, 3? Can you do that? Okay, and if not, figure out why. It might be because of what you're looking, like what do you look at? It's a lot. You're doing a bunch of different things, right? I think the best thing to do would be to memorize the scale first and just working on it in chunks at a time so that you're not having to look at this and your hands. The next thing I would say is look at this hand first. Okay, because when you play open, it kind of buys you some time, right? So I'm looking at my thumb, and then I look here, and I can see that 2 is where it should be. And if you're using the right finger, the second finger, it's already right there. And then when you're on 3rd fret, use your 3rd finger. Okay, so when it comes down to it, it's up to you to work on this at your speed. Maybe you've got it. Maybe you need to keep working. Go back in the video, slow the video down. You got this. You can do it. And once you get it real good, you want to be able to play it up and down and up and down and up and down and all around. And then we'll be improvising.